I am trying to reposition this camera to where the light is not in my face, but yet again, it is in my face. So I apologize if it seems to be a distraction, but as the sun goes down, it will definitely move. Because I don't want to appear dark. Now, see, with my arm blocking it, that's perfect, but we'll work with it. So, happy Wednesday, y'all. We are in the middle of the week yet again, and I hope that you guys have had a wonderful week thus far. And while we're waiting on everyone to trickle in, I just wanted to give you guys a background for tonight's video. So 2 weeks ago, I did Let It Go Wednesday, faulty body image, and I thought that was the end of the conversation. But I had some people reach out to me who said they wanted to be a part of the conversation. So I was like, okay, we can start this back up again. And because it is such a heavy topic, you can go in so many different directions with it. So we got one person who joined us. Hello. And we're just going to wait till everyone else shows up. But like I was saying, body image, especially within the black community, especially among black women, it's one of those things that a lot of us can relate to. And even though we may have healed from a lot of things that we struggled with in the past, it still comes up sometimes. And the interesting thing about tonight is that multiple generations will be represented. So you're not just going to get one generation's perspective, and we're going to dig deep, dive into some topics. So while we're waiting for everyone else, let me see. It is 6:03. So my first guest is here, and I was going to wait until like everybody was here to do a panel, but everyone's going to trickle in a little later. So we're going to see if we can get the first one on. Hi,
Hi.
so cute.
Thank you.
So we're waiting for everybody else. So guys, this is my niece Kayla. So that you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Um, like you said, I'm a representing the Gen Z, I guess. There's nothing else to say that I'm here to speak on behalf of people who probably have the same mindset as I do. So that's the only thing I gotta say.
Okay. Enough said. And the interesting thing about it, because when does Gen Z start and end? Like it's a lot of years in there, huh?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know. I was gonna, but I don't know.
But I really don't think like it is. I'll look it up later, but like it's a big gap because I want to say it might end in 2014. Yeah, so you and your brother might be in the same generation, which is weird because that's a lot of years.
Let me see my computer right here. Gen Z age range. Oh, it's from 95 to 2010.
Oh, but that's still very, very long. And it's like a lot of changes within that time, too. But I guess, because it probably will equal out to the other years. But it just seemed like it was less years than the other ones, though.
It do, especially like in your age range.
Hmm. Because I came in like with the 80s babies, too.
Yeah, that's Gen X, right?
Don't make me laugh. I think so. I don't know. But then who is why?
I want to say baby boomers.
Like, but that's the thing. I don't know what the letter is.
Our parents, I think, yeah, that's what it says. Millennials. That's what it says for Gen Y or millennials from
So we're Gen Y.
84. So you're a, yeah.
Yeah. Your parents are X. Mine aren't. Mine are baby boomers.
confusing.
It is.
Because I thought it said Gen X is from 61 to 79, and baby boomers are from 46 to 64.
That's still a big gap, but I guess.
This is not accurate because now it's saying Gen Z is from 97 to 2012.
But and that's the thing. It's like I think depending on where you find it, the years are going to be slightly different. But it's still weird, nonetheless. Because like within a generation, like it's so many changes that happen. Because that's like 20 some years. So it's like within 5 years, things change.
The silent generation. Who is that? Oh,
Those are the ones before the baby boomers, huh?
yeah. The lost generation. Those
Yeah.
or those people.
Did they even count them?
That's why they got the lost generation. Greatest generation. Silent generation. Okay. I'm excited this.
So, while we wait for everyone else to show up, I think we should get into the conversation.
Alrighty then.
All right. So, because you are a part of the social media age, so to speak, so do you think that it's more difficult to maintain a positive body image with social media?
Yeah, because as soon as I woke up this morning, and it's bad to say that I woke up and got straight on my phone, the first picture I saw was a woman with a plastic body. And
What?
like, I don't look like that, and I don't know people who look like that because it's just like they set this standard that you're supposed to have the Coca-Cola body, the bubble butt, and if you don't have it, then nobody's going to accept you. And I just feel like now people heavily set that as a standard. Plastic,
Yeah.
I don't like that because I know that there's no way my jeans is not going to make me look like that, and I'm not go spend millions of dollars on surgery. So media is heavily impacting people's body image, and it's hard to maintain positive about yourself because of that.
Yeah. I would have to agree because even though, like, I am like on the other side of it. So it's like I was there when everything first started to pop off, but it's like it still trickles in a little bit because you start to question, like, am I supposed to look like that? Because even people who tell you, like, you need to exercise, you need to do this, you need to eat this, or your lifestyle should look like this. And it's like it really makes you question what you're doing. When you were completely comfortable, it's like, wait a minute, like, what's wrong with me? Because according to them, the reason why I'm not out here like living my best life is because I don't look like that.
Right.
Even with the plastic bodies, like back in the day, which is so interesting that I can say back in the day now. But when I was growing up in the 90s and you saw videos, you saw real women and they were different shapes, different sizes. Case in point, go look up Juvenile's video, Back That Thing Up. You see like the most like regular women in that video. But back then, like we all wanted to be a part of that, you know? So it's like, it looked like they were just out there like having a good time. Like nobody was even worried about what they were wearing. Like they were just in regular tanks and shorts. They were in sundresses. You know, they were just out there having a good time. But I don't know where the shift happened to where like you had to look like, well, now they're IG models, but like back then they were video vixens. And it's like, that's very unrealistic, especially like having the very, very small waist and like the really big behinds and hips. And it's a lot of people that like I do admire in the music industry, but it's like the only thing is like, why did they go and get that surgery? Like you were fine the way that you were. Like, why do you feel like you had to go and alter yourself? And it's one of those things that a lot of people do argue, like, well, that's how they make money, like sex sells. But I do feel like, especially with your generation, I feel that it's a little worse and it's a little heavier because very early you start to see those images. Because when did Instagram first become a thing?
I don't, not gonna lie to you, I don't know.
But so, cause let me think, cause it should be going on like 10 years or so, maybe.
10 years, like
And
13.
yeah, like 2012, 2013, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what it was for me, it was MySpace. And we would just go on there, have our little fun, pick out our things, put our little music on the page. It's like we weren't worried about like the things that you see now. Like you said, as soon as you get up, the first thing you see, something to remind you, like, oh, that's not me.
Right.
Because I went through that phase too, because I took a break from social media. So I think it was like 3 years I took a break. And when I came back, it was to promote my business. And I don't think I would have come back had it not been for that. But what I would often do, like outside of like the influencers that you see, the celebrities that you see, like because I was still balancing insecurities at the time, it's like, oh, well, this girl looks like this and she has that. It's like, that's why so and so is interested in her and not me. So I would go down the rabbit hole. So I would start on this person's page, just go to that person's page, and it's like steadily comparing myself to these people. Well, if I had that, maybe I would look better if I dressed this way. And like it was really to the point to where it was like taking over my life. Like you said, you wake up in the morning, that's the first thing you do is grab your phone. Now I make sure that I do something else before I get on social media. Make sure that's the last thing that I do before I jump on it. And it is one of those things you have to really limit it. The thing I like about Instagram, you can go into the settings and put on there how many minutes you want to spend on there, how many hours, and it's like once that time limit comes up, it's like, okay, I got to get off because it is one of those things where it is very, very consuming. And I wanted to ask you about YouTube. So, with YouTube, because you have a page that you want people to subscribe to your page,
There is nothing on there yet, though.
I thought it was.
I deleted it. I want
Oh my
to
God.
start deleted.
Well, never mind that. But with YouTube, so in seeing all the different YouTubers and influencers, is that something else that you feel has affected the way that your generation sees body image?
I mean, it's the same thing because the people I see, like the person I saw this morning, was a YouTube influencer. That's how she started her status, I guess. But I don't know. I just feel like YouTube is more censored, and then you get on Instagram or Twitter, even TikTok now. It's the people promoting the tummy tea, the waist trainers, different stuff like that. And I don't really see that on my YouTube because, like, I try to keep my YouTube and my TikTok kind of free from all that. It's my getaway because when I want to go on a break from social media, I go on TikTok and YouTube. But I just think YouTube is to blame for the static for making these people influencers, like influencers just because their body, or they go out and go buy different things. Just you getting money off of materialistic things, I guess. And I blame YouTube for that because when YouTube started, it was just doing
Video.
yeah. But now it's like you go to YouTube, then you go to Instagram. Next thing you know, you're a model. And half the time, those are the same people with the plastic surgery bodies. And but now I don't really see that from YouTube. They're all on Instagram now and proposing as models.
Well, I think I mentioned this in the last video. I like stumbled across things that I didn't even know were going to be an issue for me. And this was back in like 2013. So that's where I stumbled across the girl who was like, hey, if you want to gain weight, you drink these nutritional plus shakes and you do squats so you can be thick. I was like, oh, okay. And I remember like seeing a lot of people that I was following at the time, natural hair bloggers. And a lot of them were saying, yeah, we're going to go and get veneers. You know, we finally have enough money saved to fix our teeth. And I started thinking, should I start thinking about veneers? Like, But the thing that stopped me, not everybody's looks right. You know, some people get a good job, some people don't, but it's still like reinforced like that idea that it's like in order to be seen, in order to have an audience, you have to alter something about your body. One of the singers that I absolutely adore, Toni Braxton, I love her to death. But she was told very early on in her career she wasn't going to go far with her nose. So what did she do? She went to the plastic surgeon, you know,
Michael.
and I really do wish she would have left it alone. But it's one of those things to where it's like, okay, so she didn't go overboard. She just did enough, you know.
Right.
But it's one of those things. It's like I wish she hadn't altered herself. I saw Lil Kim at DMS's funeral over the weekend. I'm like, no, no.
I just think with Lil Kim, to me, when I look at old pictures of Lil Kim was very gorgeous. And I think, you know, Tupac and other people that said that she was ugly and different stuff, because the skin, one thing is people are colorism. They only give recognition to light skins, white people, mixed people, and then they overlook the darker skinned people. And I know people get bleaching and all of that. I just wish people would be more comfortable and not really care what other people say, because people are going to say something regardless. And then you said something about getting veneers. I actually made a phone call to my dentist and I asked him about that with my teeth, because that is one of the trends, having pretty straight teeth. And I just was like, I want pretty straight teeth. You know, y'all can keep the plastic surgery. I want the teeth though.
And look, and that's something that's very, very real. And it's like just looking at you, I can tell you don't need them. And I'm quite sure you would say the same thing to me, but it's like when the image is presented to you, it's like when you have something to compare yourself to where you were fine before, now you're starting to question everything.
Right.
And going back to what you said about colorism, that's actually one of the things that I wanted to bring up tonight. So I have a friend who's from New Jersey, and she went to LSU for a semester, and she told me she did not know colorism was as bad as it was in the South until she came here. And she is gorgeous, and she's light skinned. And she was just taken aback by how many guys were coming at her just because she was light skinned. And it's one of those things that is like, okay, I get where it comes from. Like, the lighter you are, the closer you are to whiteness. Then, of course, going back to the plantation, that was seen as better. And people still stick to that today. And adding with the skin color. If you had long, pretty hair, that's another thing people were just crazy about. And I remember going to school with a couple of guys, and there was a new girl, and everybody was just like trying to get at her. And like one of them said, like, "Ooh, I definitely want to have babies with her." Why? Because she light skinned and she got long hair. Oh,
We had somebody tell me when I dyed my hair, they told me that if I was darker, I would not look right.
wow.
And I told him, I was like, you colorist. Like, why would you even tell somebody that? I wouldn't even take that as a compliment at all.
One. It is not one.
It's not.
And even it's like, "Ooh, you pretty for a dark skinned girl."
Right.
It's like, pretty or you not? Like, there is no for a. It's not at all. And it's just one of those things where like I wish people would acknowledge that. Because I've had a lot of guys tell me, like, one of the things they liked about me was my hair, like when it was straight. And I'm like, you do know I'm a whole lot more than just my hair. That's why I didn't mind cutting it off. Because I'm like, I'm not about to be just conditioned to thinking I have to keep my hair long just to keep your attention. Because I'm a whole lot more than just my hair. But before I was excited to cut my hair off, I was holding on to it because of that fact. I felt like, oh, they do think long hair is pretty. And like I was obsessed with Aaliyah at the time. So I was like, nah, I got to keep my long hair because that's what they like. But it's like once I freed myself from that, I was like, nah, no more. I'm just waving at people as they come in. So, with you, Kayla,
Mm-hmm.
you ever experienced the light skin stigma because you're lighter complexion?
Like, what you mean by that?
So, have you had people who came at you because it's like, oh, like you pretty, you light skin? Have you had people call you red?
Yeah. red, yellow bone, and I'm just no. I remember I was at work one day, and a lady, she came through the drive-through. I mean, I took the compliment, and she was like, "Oh, baby, your skin is so pretty. You was just so gorgeous." And then I was thinking, I was like, if I was dark skinned, would she would have told me that?
Exactly.
But I thank you and gave her a chance. But I just feel like people, where did it come from though? Like, honestly, besides being whitewashed, where did that being the standard, being light skinned come from? Like, honestly.
Well, it was reinforced. So outside of it coming from the plantation, now that you're removed from the plantation, it's still in the black home. Even when it's like, oh, like if you have discoloration, you got to fix that. Oh, and you mentioned bleaching creams. I don't even know if you know this, but it's like, I think like my middle school years, I would go to Walmart and buy bleaching cream because it's like on the backside, things are a little darker there. So I'm like, you know what? I need to lighten this up and cause even more discoloration
Right.
from that. And it's like, where did that come from? That it's like, oh, darkness isn't attractive. So we have another guest here who's going to join the conversation. So just a second. Let's see who it is. Hi, Lawanda.
Hi, I made it.
You look so pretty. I love that color on you.
Thank you. Okay, you look pretty,
That's
girl.
what I breathe.
Y'all look like twins. Oh, how you doing, Lawanda?
I'm doing fine. For those who don't know, I'm a little late because I went and did some self-care when it got like my nails and feet done. So I'm feeling good.
Look good too.
Thank you, baby.
So look, we've been having a very good conversation. Like your niece is just like so well spoken and intelligent. You know, I can tell like, you know, she's very conscious. And we were talking about colorism. And the last question that she asked me, she was like, outside of being whitewashed, where does colorism really come from?
Yeah, I caught that piece. I came in when she was talking about that. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on colorism?
I think it's learned behavior or a learned concept. I mean, people are more than just the color of their skin. You know, like you're not better or worse depending on what color your skin is. But I think somewhere down the line, somebody told somebody else, kind of similar to what Kayla said, somebody embedded that in your head to make you think it was better. And like you mentioned about the plantation, where you had the lighter complexions inside the house and the other ones outside. So that may have caused like hatred in a sense. But colorism really kind of is just an idea of personal concept.
It is. Because I know you can attest to this. Like, we're not going to call nobody out on this live, but certain family members.
Sorry, my allergies, y'all.
It's okay. It's okay. We all know it's the spring of the year. All that pollen is in the air.
Oh.
Bless you, baby.
Bless you.
But, you know, there were certain family members who were not light skinned, who were dark. Bless you, girl.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think I got it out there too.
To make sure. All right. So, so there were some family members who were not light complexion themselves who said they did not want dark babies. And I was like, you do see your color, right? Like, what other color would you expect them to be? And it's like, why is that unattractive just because a person is darker complexion?
Well, maybe someone didn't make them feel pretty about their complexion, so that may be where it came.
Well, that's a really good point. And I think that's probably where like the deeper rooted issues with body image comes from. Like the people who you trusted to make you feel valuable, to make you feel worthy, they didn't. And we were even talking about hair, how a lot of people are fixated on having long hair, and like the issue of good hair even comes up. Like, well, good or bad hair. Because it's like I hear a certain somebody, again, we're not gonna call out no names, but someone saying like so and so had nappy hair, but you got a good grade of hair though, and yeah, I didn't really have good hair, but it's like your hair is your hair, and how you tend to it, that's what makes it either good or bad, not how it looks. But people were conditioned, like even with texture. So when I was going natural, I was led to believe that my hair was looser. But that's because your mama used to put all that grease and gel on my hair to slick it down. So I used to think when it was natural back in the day that it had a looser pattern, but it really didn't. So when it started growing out and it started looking like this, I was like, oh, where did that come from? And it's like to a lot of people, they would have frowned upon it and been like, ooh, like, I don't like that just because it's tighter. But it's like, to me, hair is hair. And it's like, I absolutely love the fact that it looks like this. So I know that Lawanda's transitioning and Kayla has fully gone natural. So what have you guys learned or what are you learning about accepting your hair?
I know you know that I have texturized my hair, bleached it twice, so it's not what it used to be, and it's kind of, it don't have that natural texture that it did when I first went natural. But I'm learning that it's just hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hair. I could cut it off and I could grow it. Cause like I'm not gonna say, a certain family member told me that hair is a woman's crown, and he went off on me when I did cut my hair. So I'm just like, hair is hair. It's gonna grow back, and it doesn't make me, okay? It doesn't make a person, their hair. It can be your personality or a characterization, but it don't make you. And I've learned to know that because people will really get mad at me when I cut and bleach my hair.
And I agree with what Kayla said. And especially Eric, and I have you to thank for me with the transitioning, because I'm like, no, I can't do that. And then, like, growing up, you were always known with, oh, you have good hair. So I thought my hair, I guess, was bad hair. So my hair wouldn't look the same if I went natural, but I was comparing it, like, to yours or whatever, or even thinking, oh, I may not look well with that. But like Kayla saying now, for those who don't know, like, I'm the type, if my hair ain't right, like, I ain't going nowhere. Like, it really affected my mood. But now it's like, whatever. I think that was a part of, like, living up to other people's expectations. But now it's like, if I like it, so what if you don't like it? And being, more comfortable in the skin that I'm in. And part of that comfortability, if that is the word, is doing whatever I want to do with my hair, even with the braids. I mean, some people have an opinion about wearing braids, but I like them, so I'm going to wear my braids.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up because it irks my nerves to continuously hear people argue over whether or not braids are professional or not. That was like a whole thing on Twitter, I think like last week or something. And I'm like, are you people just arguing just to hear yourselves talk? It's like, why wouldn't it be considered professional? Like, I don't see anything distracting about either one of your hairstyles at all. So it's like I don't understand like why people would feel like it has to be straight in order for it to be acceptable. And it's like, no, it's gonna be whatever you get. Because even with dreads, like it's certain states that recently passed laws saying people can wear dreads in the workplace. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like that shouldn't even be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. Because it's like I'm questioning. It's like if I walked into somebody's office with my puff, like would you have an issue with that? Because it's super big now. And like people with natural hair, it's like it's always like a struggle that they go through to try to figure out like, okay, so where do I fit? Are they going to accept this? And even with you, Lawanda, sometimes like when you want to play with color, it's kind of like, well, I would choose this color, but I'm not sure like how they'll take it in the office, because we don't have to say what color most of the people are in the office. That's
Well, I just don't want to distract them. I mean, me doing anything to my hair is a distraction. So if I really go as bold as I want to go, that's going to be a distraction in the workplace. So that's why I don't do it. But listening to you talk, when you talk about natural hair, like especially with us, technically from the beginning of the time, like our hair was natural. So when my question, which no one may have the answer, when did the thought come that it had to be straight? It had to be processed. Where did that come from?
exactly. Because even, and all the pain I used to go through with the hot comb, like having these horrible burns on my ear, but it's like I had to get cute for Easter Sunday, the Christmas program, whatever what was going on. And like even with me relaxing my hair, I burned most of the time. So it's like, why was I still doing that to my hair? And like it wasn't healthy, like at all, especially close to the end. It looked very crazy. And I was glad when it was gone because I felt like that was attached to someone else's image of me. Because another person we're not going to mention, like this person.
Yeah, a lot of people y'all not mentioned.
Look, we stir people up when we do these videos. So I'm trying to tread softly. So a certain person would tell me, like when they look back at old pictures of me and my hair is straight, that's the you I remember. I'm like, well, do you not see who I am now? Like that person does not exist. Like, I don't get it. But I guess people are just used to what they're used to. And especially when they come up in a different time period to where that was heavily enforced, to where it's like, you got to show up as your best. You got to be pressed. You got to have this. You got to have that. It's like, I get it. But then again, I don't. Because I feel like everybody should be open to change. So, Lawanda, you missed the first part of the conversation. We were talking about the impact of social media. So, have you been affected by social media when it comes to your own body image?
Interesting enough, I haven't been impacted so much with the body image part. With me, it's more so just like my personal life or my relationship status, and it don't have to be anything bad. It's just if I see it's a post about like what you should do in a marriage and stuff, but then I saw like, oh well, I don't have that, so I do start comparing. So that's why I do try to limit my social media time, because if I like consume it and just keep scrolling, I will start to feel bad about the space that I'm in. So, but body image wise, not so much. And I know like I kind of came up in the era where we didn't really have social media. We had like magazines and stuff. And even then, it didn't make me feel bad. Actually, like encouraged me, because it's like, oh, I want that, but I didn't like envy it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Kayla. Because she brought up, like, when she gets on Instagram, the first image she sees someone with a plastic body. And I was telling her back in the day when we would watch videos, it was regular women. I was like, just like in the house video, back that thing up. Regular women in regular clothes, just enjoying themselves. Like, it really wasn't a big deal about looking a certain way. Because even a lot of artists now, they feel that in order to break through, they have to get the surgeries done. And they said people told them, well, if you fix your nose, fix your teeth, fix your behind, get some bigger breasts, hey, we can talk. And I don't think that should be a requirement. But I don't remember exactly what I was listening to. I think it may have been the Breakfast Club, and Iyanla Vanzant was on there. And she was mentioning how like the industry makes it okay to sell yourself in order to get something in return. So it's like, because you're looking for validation, you're willing to do whatever it takes to get that validation. And I think with a lot of people who are engrossed with social media and it's something that they just consume all the time, they're obsessed with it. I think that they're still looking to get the validation they didn't get years ago, just like you mentioned, Lawanda, with people who have issues with skin color. And that could be self-hate when you really search it down. Like they weren't made to love their skin. And I remember being very, very young, and I realized I was Black, and I was the happiest I could be, because I'm like, yes, like I don't want to be anything other than Black, but a lot of people don't have that experience because of the pain attached to it. Just like with Michael Jackson, even though he did some questionable things when it came to his children, but he said he really didn't want to raise Black children in America because he knew how difficult it was. And it's like, I wish he would have left himself alone. But again, like those scars ran really, really, really deep. And we just saw the effects of them. So I'm going to do a time check. So 6:35. So we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. So ladies, do you guys have any words of encouragement for anyone who might be struggling with their body image right now?
Well, I would just say, I believe like what you say, you will begin to think, and what you think, you will begin to say. So I will start with some positive affirmations. It's almost like you have to not really trick yourself, but I'm saying, like, if you start saying it, you're going to start believing it. It's almost like you get a certain power. So even if it's a certain part of your body you don't like, you know, you can affirm that, like, I have a flat stomach, or my stomach is perfect, you know, something like that. Like, looking in the mirror, really looking at yourself, you know, even with your body, you're more than the body. You know what I'm saying? So really look at yourself and appreciate yourself. And even those areas you don't like, find something good about it. Like, look at it and affirm it and start saying things positive. And every day, if you have to say it, every day, if you have to do it over and over, and get comfortable enough to know if nobody else tells you, you love it. You never want to get to the point where you have to depend on somebody else to affirm who you are and the person that God made you to be. So I will start with some daily affirmations, over your mind, over your body, over your spirit, or whatever area where it seems like you're lacking. Because really, it may not be a lack. It's just to you, and it may be from a comparison from someone else or something someone made you believe. So really start appreciating who you are. And I'm, just going to say I work in special ed. And working in special ed just make me appreciate just life more. I mean, little kids who, sometimes can't talk, is like, appreciate what you have, because you don't know, someone else may be worse off, and just kind of detach yourself from other people's opinions, other people's thoughts. And if you're like me, when you're on social media and it makes you feel, limit your time, get off of there. That's my suggestion.
Exactly. And we have a comment from Chase. He said, you got to retrain that mind. And that is so true, because a lot of the things that we say to ourselves, it's not really our thoughts. Someone else planted that. And we just ruminated over it until it became our thoughts. So definitely have to retrain. So Kayla, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Lawanda basically said what I want to say, that detach from yourself from other people's opinion, try to stay off social media. It's hard to tell people that now, but it's something that can be done. You can practice not letting all people's opinions get into you, letting yourself be, influenced by social media, good and bad stuff. Just like she said, detach yourself from opinions and social media.
And just to add, like, as we know too, and I think that's one thing that helped me with not getting caught up in the body image, and even sometimes with relationship. But listening to Pastor Michael Todd kind of helped me with that, when he talking about you see relationship goals and you never know what's going on behind the scenes. Social media is kind of like a make-believe world. You can get on here and make it be whatever you want to be. So just because you see the grass looks green on the other side, the grass may be dead. Like, just think of it like that. Because even with the bodies, like, you seeing a big, like you say, they're not even real. That really made me appreciate myself, because I'm like, this is all natural. I didn't have to go, get it done to make it.
Exactly. And that was the thing, like, I never understood. I was like, what is attractive about it? But somebody told me it still looked good. I was like, well, okay, all right. Let me go over here with my little bitty self, find somebody who can appreciate it. Because again, it's like trying to fit a certain mold. It's like you're not going to be for everybody. And it's like all the things that you have, whether you love it or hate it, is for you. And whoever's meant to be in your life, they will appreciate it too. So my advice would be to just love on yourself. Start appreciating yourself. And I really do love, like, the affirmations, like just really speaking life over yourself. Like learning to accept what is, and if you do want to change and become better, you speak over that as well. So, ladies, I would like to thank you guys for jumping in on this chat tonight. It was really fun, and this is my first time doing this many people on live, and I'm glad it went well, because at first I was like, I don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, and I was thinking, could we have done a touch run? But I ain't worried.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but again, we're living. So we're not worried or what's going to go right. Do it. And hopefully I was touched. I was if I don't know if like as soon as I said, well, not hearing it. But we're about to get off.
Yeah, that may be I'm getting a phone call. I don't know if they have something to do with it. It's our uncle.
Great. I'm thinking
I do too. I hear her ringtone.
like she got outro.
Oh.
But you can go ahead and go, because like I said, I'm gonna do it different this time. I'm gonna let y'all get off, then I'm gonna close, so I can say
right. See you. Love you guys.
Love you too. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Peace, Kayla.
Bye.
All right, guys. So that's our conversation for tonight, and I hope that you guys enjoyed that. And I am going to be taking a break for at least 2 weeks. I haven't decided if it's going to be longer than the 2 weeks, but as of right now, it's going to be for 2 weeks. And I'm going to take some time to recuperate because if you were over on at Masterpieces Writing for my Pick My Brain video last week, you heard me mention that things were feeling a little off and I didn't feel as if I was showing up as my best self. So I was like, I'm going to finish out this month, then take some time in May to recuperate, to reset, and come back bigger and better for you guys. And as always, I do appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I hope that you're following me here on at She Writes Masterpieces, on at Masterpieces Writing, so you can keep up with what I have going on, and you'll be one of the first to know when I'm coming back. And if you guys ever want to be in either of my live videos, whether it's this one, Let It Go Wednesday, or Pick My Brain, leave me a comment, send me a DM, and we'll go ahead and get you scheduled to appear. And the interesting thing about tonight, I honestly did not know that I was going to be coming back with a part 2 of this conversation, but people wanted to continue the conversation. So I'm really excited whenever I hear that people are responding well. So that's what I want to continue to do. So if you have any ideas of things that you want me to talk about on here, things that you just want to share, feel free to let me know. And as always, click the link in the bio, subscribe to my YouTube channel, check out everything I'm doing, go to the website, get your copy of my ebook, How to Write a Book Without Breaking the Bank, if you want to write a book, but you don't want to spend all your money. Hey, Portia, I'm getting ready to go. So yeah, so you might have to catch this on a replay. But it was a really, really, really good conversation. But I hope that you guys are going to have a lovely rest of the week, a lovely rest of the month, because May will be here at the end of the week. And I hope that whatever goals that you guys have in mind, that you are going to be prepared and ready to crush them. And whatever it is that you need to let go in order for that to be possible, make sure that you let it go. But as always, I hope that you guys have an amazing evening, and I will check in with you guys later. Take care. Bye.